pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recording announcement, Sunshine Law permits audio and video recording during the meeting. Roll call.
Mr. Ely,
Here.
I'm present. Mr. Prescott.
Here.
Departmental reports. Ed Crasher is unable to make it. We met with Earl from Midland Paving, or Midland Asphalt on Ely just a little bit ago. Things did not go quite the way that they had planned on it. Had a couple breaks down with the machine. So they're wanting us to take the grader and the eighth loader out there tomorrow. There's a bunch of loose stone on the upper part of it, and basically get rid of it. And then they're figuring on tarring and chipping it on Friday. They want to close the road tomorrow. It'll be open for any residents, but try to deter people from traveling it.
Which road is that?
Ely. And same way with Friday. We'll have road closed signs on both ends, but it'll be open for, if there would be emergency vehicles or anything like that. Question was raised, I think at the last meeting, over maintenance on equipment. All the equipment gets serviced on a regular basis. The hours are written on the filters, the dates written on the filters, and all the equipment is maintained. Something that we really need to consider, we need to consider getting an eighth loader. And I know it's a big expense, but the thing is, we have the eighth loader right now till South Franklin calls and wants it. And once they want it, we don't get it for 2 more years. And obviously all the ditching's not done yet. And every time they go to use it, they have issues with it, it breaks down. So it's my suggestion that we check around and get quotes on an eighth loader. If we can find a good used one, we can go that route. If not, see if we can find price on a new one. What's your guys' opinion on it?
This is probably not the time of the season that you want to go looking for one. Maybe later in the paving year. And then, later September or maybe in October.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Yeah.
fine. Start looking.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, I'll go along with it. After the peak road
Yeah.
working season's over.
Good, Darren.
I just had a question when you were talking about Midland.
Yeah,
Were you aware that they decided they were gonna tar and chip Old National?
that was part of the plan, from my understanding.
Okay, because they don't have any flaggers or any signs and people drove by the machines whenever they were running. And whenever my brother-in-law tried to go to my house, they turned him around and made him go all the way to Claysville.
And then turning around again.
And then in Claysville, they turned around and made him come back. They need to have that in order if they're gonna keep working in our township, I would say, for safety reasons.
Well, I just talked to Earl. He said he had flaggers. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Everyone to sign on Old National.
There's a guy sitting in the car going like this.
So I would just ask if you would address that just.
I'll talk to him tomorrow.
Okay.
Any other questions on the roads? Fire Department, Eric Graham. Fire Marshal, Eric Graham. Water and sewage.
Okay, I just spoke with John Forrest, probably no more than 5 minutes before I walked in the room. He called, and they did find a big leak in the water system. And the big leak is north of Route 40 on Liberty. The leak detector said it was an extremely large leak. In fact, they said it was, however, whatever it reads, it was off the chart. So the repairs to it. He is assembling right now, as we speak probably, some costs associated with the repair of the system. We're expecting it to be under $10,000, but we don't know that for sure. That's one leak. He says a couple small leaks on Main Street, and we're going to address those as well, but they seem to have pinpointed at least what they think is the major leakage of the system. We'll find out. So that's all that we have on water.
Code enforcement, John?
Yeah, I actually did it all as part of the same report. So since the last meeting, we've been working 5 different properties with the owners to resolve ordinance violations. 2 of the properties have had their issues resolved completely. One is currently in the process of addressing the issues, and one has had no action, so letters to be sent. The last one's not on the report. I was just up there just before the meeting, and they got their grass cut. It's all good.
That's all you have?
Yes, sir.
Engineer Gordon?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The first item is the Public Works Storage Building. An addendum was issued to extend the bid opening date from August 2nd to August 31st. We needed more time to...
What was the dates again?
It was extended from August 2nd to August 31st.
August 2nd, to August 31?
Right.
Okay.
So
You want to explain what the reason?
that, sure. Last year, our mechanical engineer passed away, and we've been looking for a replacement, and that's hard to find, so we've been subbing out some of this work. And when we contacted about a week before the advertisement was to go out, we had already gave her the scope of work, and she was to begin working on it. We contacted her about a week before the advertisement, and she indicated that she had a problem with doing the work relating to adding the pipes for the future heated floor and the soil drain and the future water pipes for hot water tank and water for the toilet and sink for what we're submitting as an unoccupied building. So we tried to explain to her that we had talked several times with codes, and that they didn't like the idea, but they could work with us on it. But she indicated that she wouldn't be working on it. So we went to another subcontractor who had the same ethical problem, and we went to a third that said he's done that before, it's no problem. So he started working on it, and but he needed obviously time to get it done. So that's where we stand. August 31st is the opening. If you want to advertise for a special meeting for award before your regular meeting next month, we can do that. We just need a couple of days to review the bids and make a recommendation. You know, call the appropriate people they list on their bid for references, and look into the lowest responsible bidder's qualifications. So if you want to do that, I can work with the secretary to do that. And it's a 90-day contract, so you turn the contracts and insurance around in 2-3 weeks. You probably get started October and November and have it substantially complete. A representative from our office, Phil Herman, met with Ed Crush on Petroleum Avenue to review and make recommendations on inadequate drainage there. They found Phil put a report together. I'll leave it with you tonight. Just a one-page of his observations and recommendations, but an inlet needs replaced. It's in poor condition, and also a pipe. It's visible above ground with a lot of openings and filled with debris. and perhaps extending that down a right-of-way beyond a, beyond a alley right-of-way to an existing drainage ditch. And
What was the property owner's name?
I'm not sure what the property, it was just considered Petroleum Avenue.
Okay.
I believe it's the last street before you go into Claysville.
You have the address on that?
No.
Was that a block of Main Street or 2 blocks of Main Street or whatever we're talking about?
Yeah, let me get his letter out. He did not put a, you may recognize the house. I'll give you my copy to look at.
Is there a picture in there? or-
Yeah, there's several pictures in there. This is your copy.
I don't know that hole anywhere.
You see it before?
Yeah. Looks like any other drain hole.
That's the house.
Okay, yeah, that's right up behind, what's the name of the industry there, business property, I'm not sure what his business name is. It's right behind the,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
That's your copies.
all right.
Next item is gym roof replacement, and we're preparing specifications, and we're aiming to also open and then have a recommendation for you and award at next month's meeting,
And you're bidding it, shingles and metal.
and metal. And we're gonna include the cupola, as we discussed. And last item I have, Jansen Road. Design's just about done. In fact, we informed the county planning of that, sent them a letter, which we have to do under the DEP permit requirements, and we will be submitting it. Hopefully get that in about a week or so for the permitting of that work. That's all I have. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Solicitor?
I'd like to point out 2 things in my report. First, we're waiting for the proposed escrow agreement from Range. As you know, we agreed with Range that they would establish a $5,000 escrow account that would enable the township to make quick repairs of roads in the event Range was unwilling or unable to address the issues in a timely manner. So once we get that agreement, we'll circulate it to the supervisors. A couple months ago, I indicated that a petition was filed with the Pennsylvania Labor Relations Board by Patrolman Ed Shell to have a bargaining unit identified to represent the police officers in the department. There is a pre-hearing telephone conference that we've got to participate in next Tuesday at 10 a.m. Basically, you know, if you have technical issues or objections to the petition that are substantial, that's when it's raised. If it can't be resolved, the hearing officer schedules a hearing. The petition that was filed by Officer Shell seeks to create a unit composed of 7, full-time, regular, part-time, including the chief, the sergeant, corporal, and all patrolmen. So there'd be 7 potential members in the unit. We could talk about this issue in executive session on technical matters, but I don't see any technical issues that we can raise at this point.
What's the date of the conference?
15. So the next step would be for the proposed members of the unit to vote on whether or not they want to be represented by a collective bargaining agent in the future. And that's all I have.
Planning Commission, Lee Rogers?
Yeah, we had one subdivision submitted, Kerry Boone, and he wasn't there at the time, so we couldn't ask him any questions. We decided to stop and ask him to attend our next planning commission meeting on the subdivision. Also, we had Tony Orlando come in and did a little brief history and view on his exit one section out here where they're trying to develop that a little bit. And he just gave us a little brief scenario on what's going on out there. And we also talking about subdivisions and taking a look at that, maybe doing a workshop on that. Coming back next month with everybody having the books, so we can discuss that. That's it.
Police Department, John?
Yes, sir. For the month of July, we responded to 177 calls for service. We initiated 19 criminal investigations, to include 1 death investigation, 2 Megan's Law violations, 1 child welfare investigation, 1 authorized use, 8 thefts, 1 DUI, 1 drug possession, and 3 criminal mischiefs. Property loss for the month of July was $40,877. However, we recovered $40,000 of that. That was a truck. In July, officers conducted 40 traffic stops that produced 17 citations, as well as investigated 4 traffic accidents. We patrolled approximately 4,729 miles, used approximately 342 gallons of fuel. Gave the code enforcement report. The magistrate's fines, they said they give us a report every month. It's not available yet. Girl's been off for a couple of weeks, so it's not available. So I'll show it in next month's report. Attached, you'll find copies of the reports provided to Claysville and Buffalo. They also include the adjustment that we do once a quarter with half the fines for Buffalo Township, and we subtract that from a particular month's bill. That's reflected in their report. That's it.
Office report, Doug?
Yeah, been a lot going on in the office. Had a discussion on 2 occasions with the bank manager of the West Bank of Highland, on the Highlands branch, in regards to their interest in placing a Mac machine here on our facility, in our parking lot. They actually called me today, and they're advancing that project, and they've moved on to the next step of their banking system to see if there's any interest or cost involved for them to bring that to our location. We have the payroll transfer to the third-party agency. Advantage Payroll is moving along. We had a few hiccups in the bookkeeping of the liabilities in the transfer, and we had to bring in a QuickBooks expert to tweak the books, and they're still working on that. They worked on it today, and they're coming back again next week to make sure that the records that we have that match up with the actual transactions. The HVAC system upstairs is moving right along. The new furnaces in place, the air conditioning units on the roof, ductwork's been installed. He's doing the work on weekends so as not to disturb the daycare program. I've spoken with the CPA firm that had done the audit, and they are not complete yet. One of the hang-ups in their audit is that they can find no records that deal with the transfer of the municipal authority from the municipal authority to the township in 2009 or whatever year it was, and they don't have a list of the assets that was acquired or the value of the assets, and the accountants that the authority had during their time period are of no help. We've spoken to the engineers, Cerrone and Associates, and they could give us some cost on the sewage system, but they don't have any information on the water system. So they're trying to recreate records at this point in time that don't exist. The copy machine in the office, last year we determined that it was on its last leg. Some of the copies you have, you notice there's a streak in them, which is no big deal. That's just a cleaning usually, or a new drum or something along that line. But it quit duplexing today. They want to make a one-sided copy, which is going to use a lot of extra paper. I'm gonna suggest that we, go back and talk to the folks that gave us a bid last year, and, maybe get a couple of quotes, 3 quotes, see if we can't come up with a machine to replace that thing. It's got a lot of years on it, it's not gonna serve, very much longer before it gives us a lot of issues. The daycare, or the aftercare program on the second floor of this facility has notified us that they are shutting down. They're closed, they're not gonna reopen. We still have not ordered the display cases that were approved to be purchased from the Act 13 funds. I did get 3 prices, and the original price that we got from the school supply outlet was by far the cheapest. General fund took some huge dips in the last month. I hit the panic button and informed the other supervisors of the issue. General fund is a fund that's unrestricted. You can spend on anything you want, but we don't have much control of the money coming in. At one point in time, if the payroll had been posted, because of the delay in the posting of the payroll, we could have been down probably to less than $40,000 in the general fund, which is not a very comfortable place to be. Luckily, we had one very large check come in that put us back up, and we are suggesting some motions tonight on the agenda to move some money from Act 13 to pay for some items which can be paid for with Act 13 funds, moving into the general fund to reimburse that. As we've already got a motion on the books regarding the ability of the township departments, that we don't have departments now, but as supervisors, we still must consider the size of the workforce, and we're okay right now, but if we had stayed in that $40,000 range where we were, that's panic, guys. That's getting close to 2 payrolls would shut you down. So right now, we're in a position that we're okay for the next foreseeable few weeks anyways. That's pretty much the office report. We are doing the best we can do in the transfer of family leaving. Family still has been a very big help to us in trying to figure out what things are. That's all I have to report.
We're going to let the gentleman go from Columbia. I'm sorry I didn't see you till after we started the departmental reports, so you can go ahead and give your report, and then you can leave if you want, or whatever you want to do.
Construction's continuing on the compressor station.
Add your name again, please.
Gregory Wilson.
Gregory Wilson. Thank you.
Ray Lynch, who's with me, when he got stuck in some traffic on
Okay.
Vicksburg.
I thought you were going to say you're stuck in traffic on Delaware Road. No.
Not Vermont. Anyway, we're down, everything is on site essentially other than some consumables. So there is a lot of activity on Delashon, but I believe it's Mark West on that pipeline. And West Bend Power's installing that power line up the road. Power. They indicated that they'll have that power energized around the 23rd of August. That's about it. Should be in service in October.
Any questions for him?
Lynn, you got all your, anything you want to know?
Well, there's something else I want to know. At some point, I would like some of the maintenance in the road taken out, but
Yeah. What's your plans for straightening that up a little bit?
We maintenance a little over the weekend, but they're going to start maintenance it more.
Okay.
One thing is working with Mark West, that other contractor, getting them the help because a lot of their big trucks are coming.
They're probably.
Yeah, understand that. We good?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Public comment on items on the agenda. So everyone's clear, look down through the agenda. If there's anything you want to comment on it, comment now.
Hey, Dave.
Yes, Darren.
Actually, this is more for Doug. Whenever you were talking a little earlier this evening, you were talking about West Banco. Is that a motion that's gonna come out, or was that just something you were letting go? Because I
No,
remember.
there's no, they're just staying with.
It was just informational? Okay,
Yeah, it's not that stage yet.
okay. Because I want to let you know that if you must have forgotten, but back in March, the company that I deal with for my ATM at my store, they put an ATM in my store at no cost to me.
Yeah, it's not gonna cost the township, there's no cost to the township.
Okay, but if you,
Yeah.
I mean, that, I can give you that guy's number again.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we also put an offer out some time ago to Community Bank for the same.
Well, if that's something that they wanna do at no cost,
Yeah, it's not, no cost to us.
okay.
No, that's,
Yeah, I don't care where you get it from, it's just a matter that I know he doesn't charge to
Right.
put the machine in there.
yeah, they make their money off the transactions, about
Right.
$3 a whack.
That's what
Yeah.
they do.
That, well, if you give me that number, then we can make, if it comes to be,
Because we used it for the fire department when we had a
right.
thing down here.
Anybody else? Go ahead.
What is meant by ordinance number 2? Is that the final draft of all of the ordinances, or is that a particular ordinance?
Number 2 through 2017,
Yes,
that's the zoning ordinance.
so that's ordinance says, actually. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for the record, I want you guys to vote no.
Anybody else have any comments? Good, Bob.
I have some questions concerning the minutes that you're going to pass this evening. And I have, the first one is, on those minutes, it was talking about, and it was passed, that the police department is going to pick up 8 hours, month?
Wait,
A week. The comment was made that this is precedent, this was something that's always been done. Statement was made that Harold Porter did this when he was here as an officer years ago. He was vehemently against that. And I think that to have officers doing this now is in the same. I don't know what Chief Yankovic feels about it. I know it was basically just given to him, but, and I haven't talked to him about this. I feel it's a very bad precedent to set. Second thing I have, and I'd like a clarification on this. There was a motion made to take the way the supervisors handled the issues in the township, roads, police, office. But there is a part of that motion that said that anyone that's an administrative approval and notification, and it's either and or notification, has to be 2 supervisors. Can you explain to me exactly what that means?
I think it's self-explanatory.
Pardon me?
I believe it's self-explanatory.
Well, if I don't understand it, then it's not.
Well, I'm sorry that you don't.
Do we have to go to 2 supervisors?
You don't have to do anything without Bob. This has to do with employees.
That, not the way the motion set up is, that you guys are doing it differently. We always thought that we were contacting Zach for police, Dave is roads, you're the office. Now, is that still the same, or does anybody handle anything now?
Anybody handles anything, they're all supervisors.
Okay, thank you. The fiasco that we had last, couple weeks ago there with the two meetings that we had that were not canceled, I think it would be very prudent if you came up with a way that those could be canceled. notification system, maybe with your, through the computers or something. Everybody, the number of people that showed up for a meeting that wasn't, and you said, well, that you didn't get around to doing it. You didn't have
That was
enough
one of the
time.
reasons, and there's a cost that goes along with that, Bob. You know what it costs to advertise a meeting? You got any idea?
We're canceling it, and from what I understand,
Yeah.
it's not even covered in there. You can cancel it, the three of you can cancel it, and I don't think anybody has any problem with that. We're talking about canceling it. We're talking about people's time, your time. Some of you complain about how much time you spend, and then you have 2 meetings that were totally worthless. A few minutes ago, you also talked, and this is it going to be in the agenda, you talked about you're gonna move money around because you're getting low on money, and it's like, it was a revelation to you that, gee, you're running out of money. Well, I think if you look back at what's been spent, I made the statement a couple meetings ago that you were spending money like a bunch of drunken sailors, and I still go to that. So, now, spending money, heating and air conditioning, you talked a little bit ago about on the 2nd floor, how that was coming right along. But the problem is, the reason that you did that, you also said it pulled out, right?
No.
I believe that whenever that was talked about and putting the air conditioning on the back side up there, it was for the daycare. You don't have to answer.
That's correct, Bob. It's for the daycare.
But now they're gone.
No, they're not
Why
gone.
didn't you?
They're not gone. They're expanding. The aftercare program is gone.
The aftercare.
It's a
is
different
gone.
program, a different, paid for, a different.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I misunderstood them.
Yeah, in fact-
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Anybody else? Go ahead, JD.
On the note that Bob brought up, your July 22nd, as far as the